Twitter may be cracking down on conservatives using its platform, temporarily suspending OAN's political correspondent Chanel Rion. One America's Pearson Sharp explains.
Twitter is at it again, censoring and silencing conservative voices on the internet. And the most recent victim is one of our own reporters here at OAN. One America's Chanel Rion was suspended just days after she began working for us, right after airing her very first on-air report for our channel. Following a massive outcry across the internet from her fans and supporters of free speech, Chanel's Twitter page has since been restored. But what's troubling is there was no apparent cause for this random act of censorship. Chanel says that she wasn't given any warning by Twitter, and that as far as she could tell, she hadn't violated any of Twitter's growing list of taboos for conservatives. Except, of course, for retweeting President Trump and appearing in a photo next to Donald Trump Jr.
How does it make you feel then when you go, after you've put in all this work into your Twitter account, you've built up your following, you've invested your time and your effort and your content into the site, to just suddenly wake up one day essentially and it's gone?
I feel like we're going to dive into some legal discussions about major intellectual property and personal property, frankly, that has been posted on social media, where social media will just censor you for your over your First Amendment right. I think that we're going to have some more legal discussions about this in the future, because we have way too many high-profile conservatives being banned.
We're now at a point in our country where doing your job as a reporter and sharing what the President of the United States says can get you banned. But apparently, being a blatant racist, calling for the genocide of an entire people, is just fine. Sarah Jeong of the New York Times routinely posts hateful, discriminatory, inflammatory, racist messages inciting violence towards white people. She posts the hashtag #CancelWhitePeople and says white people are bull. Last year, in just one profane tweet, she said that white people are like dogs pissing on fire hydrants, and called again to cancel white people, suggesting they'd be better off living underground, and said, quote, "It's sick how much joy she gets out of being cruel to old white men." Twitter didn't have a problem with that. But when conservative journalist Candace Owens copied and pasted the exact same tweet, substituting the word Jewish instead of white, her account was immediately suspended. Twitter said that she violated the rules against hateful conduct. Her account, like our own Chanel Rion's, was eventually restored, but not before it was made very clear that on Twitter and elsewhere online, conservatives are not welcome. This sickening double standard is directed only towards those with conservative viewpoints. And Twitter has even defended their censorship by claiming that conservative commentary is literally unhealthy for public discussion. They claim to be fighting fascism, but banning freedom of speech is the first move in the fascist playbook. First, they banned Alex Jones, then 2 weeks later, a slew of other conservatives, including InfoWars contributor Paul Joseph Watson and independent journalist Milo Yiannopoulos and Laura Loomer. And just days ago, Twitter also shut down a page run by One America's Jack Posobiec, an account which simply tracked violence carried out against supporters of President Trump. This selective application of rules extends beyond Twitter into the real world, with Uber and Lyft banning people from using their services for tweeting so-called politically incorrect messages. Even Chase Bank has been closing the accounts of conservatives for the views they shared online. While Chanel's Twitter page is now back up, it begs the question, what's next? When will Twitter or Facebook or any of the other platforms suddenly strike down another conservative voice just because they don't agree with what they're saying? The radical left demands that more women's voices be heard. Just not these women, and only if your voice sounds like theirs. And so we ask our viewers, if you support the freedom of speech, if you support our right to the First Amendment, regardless of political views, go and follow Chanel Rion on Twitter. Show her your support and that you condemn Twitter's biased, discriminatory actions. Conservatives, liberals, Republicans, and Democrats all have one thing in common. We are all Americans. It doesn't matter what you believe, you have the unalienable right to your own opinion. But if public commentary is censored just because you don't follow mainstream beliefs, then that right is stripped away. If conservatives can be banned from sharing their opinions online, if they can be rejected from riding in an Uber or a Lyft, if they can be denied access to their own bank accounts, how much longer until they aren't allowed to buy a phone, buy a house, or as facial recognition technology increases, even be allowed to walk into certain stores? People are being punished by powerful corporations, shunned and eradicated unless they fall in line with mainstream thinking. What's more fascist than silencing people and taking away their freedoms just because you don't agree with them? And if these rights, the rights to our opinions and our beliefs, can be taken away from one of us, they can be taken away from all of us. For One American News, I'm Pearson Sharp.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One American News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.